Many workers are injured or killed on aerial lifts every year. Proper operation and use of aerial lifts can make completion of tasks at elevation safer and more efficient. However, unsafe work practices can result in serious injury. Aerial lifts have replaced ladders and scaffolding on many job sites due to their mobility and flexibility. They may be powered or manually operated. An aerial lift is any vehicle-mounted device used to elevate personnel, including extendable boom platforms, aerial ladders, articulating, jointed boom platforms, vertical towers, and any combination. This program covers the common types of aerial lifts and general hazards associated with aerial lifts operations. It also helps to learn the safe work practices that you should follow before, during, and after operating aerial lifts, which will reduce your risk of any serious injuries. It explains how to maintain an aerial lift and describe the training required before operating in aerial work platforms. An aerial work platform consists of three main components: the base or chassis, the lift mechanism, and the platform. The common types of lifts are: manually propelled lifts must be moved by hand. The base of the lift rides on wheels or casters and supports the elevating portion of the lift. Self-propelled lifts are able to move under its own power, with controls mounted on the platform and base. Boom-supported lifts use a boom that extends beyond the chassis to support the work platform. They are able to articulate, telescope, and rotate on its chassis. Vehicle-mounted lifts can contain a boom, ladder, or tower lifts that are mounted on a vehicle or truck chassis. Click on a lift below to learn more about that lift. An articulating boom lift is a type of crane that uses hydraulic cylinders to rise and lower. It allows a driver to maneuver the boom in any given direction directly from the work platform without lowering the basket. Articulating boom lifts typically operate with an electric motor or internal combustion as their power source. It not only rotates 360 degrees, but also accesses spots higher than most straight or telescoping boom lifts. Telescopic boom. A telescopic boom is a lift with more reach capability than a traditional lift. Operable from the work platform, even when extended, some telescopic boom lifts are equipped with a jib that provides extra reach and range. Reaching up to 140 feet and offering a greater horizontal outreach than any other type of aerial platform, these boom lifts are often used in construction and industrial applications, such as road building, bridge work, painting, and landscaping. Scissor lifts. A scissor lift or table lift is an industrial lift. It is powered by hydraulics, diesel, or an electric motor. This lift will reach anywhere from 21 to 62 feet. It is basically a platform with wheels that acts like a forklift. Portable and effective, this lift is useful for completing tasks which require speed and mobility. The scissor lift is unique and doesn't use a straight support to raise workers into the air. Instead, the scissor lift platform raises when the linked folding supports underneath it draw together, stretching it upward. The scissor lift's design keeps it from traveling with a constant speed, instead traveling faster in the middle of its climb and slower as it elevates. It can be seen in nearly all manufacturing and production workplaces, including construction, assembly, and vehicle repair. Telehandlers and reach forklifts. Telehandlers and reach forklifts are known by a variety of names, including extendable reach forklifts and telescopic handlers. They are capable of handling a variety of tasks that require lifting heavier materials and reaching up to 6 stories high. Reach forklifts are powerful machines that are capable of lifting heavy loads to great heights. Telehandlers have the ability to lift 8,000 to 10,000 pound loads and have a 42 to 54 foot reach capability. Many attachments are available for the telehandlers, which make this a very versatile machine. Construction, masonry, farming, landscaping, and demolition are just some of the areas that reach forklifts are being utilized. Towable boom lifts. The towable boom lifts, also known as trailer-mounted boom lifts, are aerial lifts that have a built-in towing capability. Frequently used by contractors due to their lightweight structure and maneuverability, they are ideal for congested job sites. As the name states, towable boom lifts are towable, easily transportable, maintainable, and ready to use in minutes. Most have an articulating boom, but some models have a telescopic arm, and they are lightweight. Carry deck cranes. Carry deck cranes are compact cranes that can lift up to 30,000 pounds. Designed for both indoor and outdoor job sites, these lifts feature telescoping booms and a load deck for material handling. They are made for the workplace and are self-propelled, usually capable of picking up a load and traveling with it. The crane is equipped with a flat deck that is designed to be used as a carrying surface. They are perfect for lifting applications requiring a compact, low-profile crane that will clear overhead obstructions and maneuver in tight places. Personnel lifts. A personnel lift is an aerial lift that combines the portability of a ladder with the stability of an aerial work platform. These are simple to set up and easy to roll through doorways with a rigid vertical mast and leveling jack that offers stability for the user. The vertical mast raises the work platform to the desired height. Reaching heights of 47 feet and lifting up to 300 pounds, these personnel lifts are more stable than a ladder. It is ideal for indoor use and is suitable for fragile surfaces. Some of the common hazards associated with aerial lifts are falling from an elevated level, lifts, and tip-overs. The primary hazard of aerial lifts is falls. Serious or fatal falls may occur when employees fall from the work platform. But more commonly, workers are injured or killed when the aerial lift tips over, when it is operated on surfaces that are uneven, broken, or soft. Aerial lifts also pose a crush hazard. Bodies or body parts may be crushed in moving parts of the aerial lift, for example, scissor mechanisms, or between moving parts of the aerial lift and adjacent fixed objects. Overloading, ejections from the lift platform, structural failures, collapses, and structural instability, electric shock, electrocutions. Employees may also be killed or injured by contact with exposed, energized electrical parts, such as overhead power lines, electrical wiring, or fixtures. This may occur when the employee in the work basket is injured by direct contact. However, if employees on the ground are making simultaneous contact with the aerial lift and the ground when an energized conductor is contacted, they too may be killed or injured. Entanglement hazards, contact with objects, contact with ceilings and other overhead objects. All newly acquired aerial lifts should meet the design and construction requirements of the Osha standards. Any built-in safety components must never be removed or modified. It includes directional controls like an automatic return to the off or neutral position when they are released and protect against accidental operation. Any override control must be continuously activated for the rest of the controls to work. This control automatically shuts off when it is released. The emergency control exists at ground level in case the operator is unable to move the platform and must override all of the controls on the platform. Any rotating gears, shafts, and other moving parts that are exposed and pose a potential hazard must have guards installed over them. Lifts may have attachment points for fall protection devices installed by the manufacturer. Operators shall not wear any loose clothing or any accessory that can catch in moving parts. Modifications and additions that may affect the capacity or safe operation of an aerial or scissor lift are strictly prohibited without the manufacturer's written approval. Capacity, operation, and maintenance instruction markings will be changed as necessary if the manufacturer approves a modification. Any signs, plates, or decals which are missing or illegible must be replaced. Most lifts are designed for operation on relatively flat surfaces with minimal slope, less than 5%. Do not operate on surfaces that exceed the manufacturer's maximum rated slope. Lifts are to be used strictly for the purposes for which they were designed and in accordance with manufacturer specifications and instructions. Service and repair are to be conducted only by qualified mechanics, and replacement parts must meet the original equipment manufacturer's specifications. Prior to each day's operation, each operator must conduct a work site and machine inspection, including applicable function tests of controls and safety devices. The purpose of these checks is to detect and abate hazard. Prior to each work shift, conduct a pre-start inspection to verify that the equipment and all its components are in safe operating condition. Consideration shall be given to the amount of wind. Follow the manufacturer's instruction regarding operation in windy conditions. As a general rule, aerial lifts shall not be operated in winds exceeding 25 miles per hour, although this can vary depending on the model of equipment. At 20 mile per hour wind speeds or anticipated gusts, lift should be lowered to a maximum height of 20 feet. At 25 mile per hour wind speeds or anticipated gusts, lifts should be grounded. Guardrails must be installed, and access gates or openings must be closed before raising the platform. Boom and platform load limits specified by the manufacturer shall not be exceeded. Before moving an aerial lift for travel, the booms shall be inspected to see that it is properly cradled and outriggers are in stowed position if equipped. Consideration shall be given to the protection of bystanders via barricading, having another employee keep bystanders at a safe distance, or by other means. Aerial lifts shall not be operated from trucks, scaffolds, or similar equipment. Inspect the vehicle and lift components, including proper fluid levels, oil, hydraulic, fuel, and coolant, leaks of fluids, wheels and tires, battery and charger, lower level controls, horn, gauges, lights and backup alarms, steering and brakes. Lift components, operating and emergency controls, personal protective devices, hydraulic, air, pneumatic, fuel, and electrical systems, fiberglass and other insulating components, missing or unreadable placards, warnings, or operational, instructional, and control markings, mechanical fasteners and locking pins, cable and wiring harnesses, outriggers, stabilizers, and other structures, loose or missing parts, guardrail systems. Do not operate any aerial lift if any of these components are defective until it is repaired by a qualified person. Remove defective aerial lifts from service, tag out, until repairs are made. After completing visual inspection, review the rated capacity and warning placards. Check that emergency release valves are tight and ground controls are working properly. Start the lift and make sure the controls work smoothly. Work zone inspections. Employers must assure that work zones are inspected for hazards and take corrective actions to eliminate such hazards before and during operation of an aerial lift. Items to look for include floor and ground conditions are appropriate. It should be free of slippery conditions, uneven surfaces, obstructions, and significant slopes. Sufficient load ratings of floor, surface, drop-offs, holes, or unstable surfaces such as loose dirt. Machine load ratings and intended use are compatible with the specific machine to be used. Inadequate ceiling heights, slopes, ditches, or bumps, overhead electric power lines and communication cables, other overhead obstructions, other hazardous locations and atmospheres, high wind and other severe weather conditions such as ice, the presence of others in close proximity to the work. Set up work zone warnings, such as cones and signs, when necessary to warn others, and ensure the lift is protected from pedestrian and vehicular traffic. Barricades or other effective means are used to delineate the work zones and divert both vehicular and pedestrian traffic. Attention shall be given towards the direction of travel, clearances above, below, and on all sides. Employees shall not sit or climb on the guardrails of the aerial lift. Planks, ladders, or other devices shall not be used on the work platform. An aerial lift shall not be moved when the boom is elevated in a working position with employees in the basket. Aerial lift shall not be placed against another object to steady the elevated platform. They shall not be used as a crane or other lifting device. Aerial lift devices shall not be operated on grades, side slopes, or ramps that exceed the manufacturer's recommendations. The brakes shall be set, and outriggers, when used, shall be positioned on pads or a solid surface. Speed of aerial lift devices shall be limited according to the conditions of the ground surface, congestion, visibility, slope, location of personnel, and other factors that may cause hazards to other nearby personnel. Stunt driving and horseplay shall not be permitted. Booms and elevated platform devices shall not be positioned in an attempt to jack the wheels off the ground. The area surrounding the elevated platform shall be cleared of personnel and equipment prior to lowering the elevated platform. All equipment must be secured on the inside of the aerial lift. Operators are to call for assistance if the platform or any part of the machine becomes entangled. Safe shutdown shall be achieved by utilizing a suitable parking area, placing the platform in the stowed position, placing controls in neutral, idling the engine for gradual cooling, turning off electrical power, and taking the necessary steps to prevent unauthorized use. Aerial lift shall be shut off prior to fueling. Fueling must be completed in well-ventilated areas free of flames, sparks, or other hazards which may cause fires or explosions. All aerial lifts must be maintained, serviced, and used only as permitted by the manufacturer. All manufacturer-provided warning labels, instructions, etc. must be maintained in a legible condition. Rated capacities may not be exceeded. Any aerial lift not in safe operating condition must be removed from service. Authorized personnel must make all repairs. Repairs to the fuel and ignition systems of aerial lifts that involve fire hazards must be conducted only in locations designated for such repairs. Aerial lifts in need of repairs to the electrical system must have the battery disconnected before such repairs. Only use replacement parts that are currently recommended by the manufacturer. Personal protective equipment. Appropriate personal protective equipment shall be worn by all workers at all times. A hard hat must be worn whenever there is a possibility of being struck by falling objects. Consult with your competent person for questions about appropriate PPE for your job site. Personal fall arrest systems. The personal fall arrest system must limit freefall to 6 feet or less. The anchor point must be able to support 5,000 pounds per attached worker. Body harnesses must be worn with a lanyard attached to the boom. The point of attachment must be the aerial lift's boom or work platform. Personnel cannot attach lanyards to adjacent poles, structures, or equipment while they're working from the aerial lift. Inspect the personal fall arrest system for wear, tears, cuts, and other signs of damage before each use. First and foremost in importance when it comes to aerial lift safety is to ensure that all operators have been properly trained. Employees who are authorized to operate aerial lifts must receive training prior to engaging in their duties, and at least every 3 years thereafter. Only trained and authorized persons are allowed to operate an aerial lift. In some states, the employer issues a permit certifying that the operator has received training on the type of lift he operates, and it is valid only with that employer. Proper training and certification prior to aerial lift usage is not only highly recommended, it is also almost universally mandatory. Training should include explanations of electrical, fall and falling object hazards, procedures for dealing with hazards, recognizing and avoiding unsafe conditions in the work setting, instructions for correct operation of the lift, including maximum intended load and load capacity, demonstrations of the skills and knowledge needed to operate an aerial lift before operating it on the job, when and how to perform inspections. Workers should be retrained if an accident occurs during aerial lift use. Now that you've completed this training, you should be able to identify common types of aerial lifts, recognize general hazards associated with aerial lifts operations, how to follow safe work practices before, during, and after operating an aerial lift, how to maintain a lift, using safety harnesses, and the necessary training required before operating an aerial lift. Aerial lifts can provide safe and easy access when working at heights, but remember to take extra care in using them, because the final judge of your work is your safety.